All right, Matt, the late game on Saturday. Packers-Niners. Niners favored by 10 in this one.
Yeah, I took the 10 with the Packers. For me, I think there's a couple of different things at play here in all this, and I can't deny it. And it's wild how good Jordan Love has gotten over the last 9 games of the season. It's been just unbelievable, and the fact that he's doing it with mostly backups is also the thing that's just crazy to me. Watson played last week, had 1 target. Like, he got all that done with everybody else, and it doesn't matter. The thing that I've started to see in Love, and you can see this also in just his distribution and the way that he's gone about it, is I think the evolution of him becoming a better quarterback is he doesn't lock in on a dude. It's kind of like, okay, this is the Dobbs week, this is the Wicks week, this is the whatever. Like, he's just going around giving the ball to anybody that's open. And Watson comes back last week, like I said, got 1 target. His number 1 target came back in. He wasn't 100%. He didn't force feed the guy. I know that you talked about the Cooper Kupp stuff, but I mean, the guy comes back off injury, and a lot of younger quarterbacks would have looked and said, like, well, I got to get my guy back in. Whatever, we got to get him. Like, one target, in the game. Instead, he went with the guys that were open. And
he's fantastic.
And Love has just been ridiculously good over this. And so, are the 49ers a better team? Obviously, the 49ers are a better team. Yes. But do we think that the Packers are really all of a sudden just going to lose what they can do on the offensive side of the ball? My answer is no, which also has me on the over of 50 in this game, which hasn't really moved my direction that much. Was it 50.5 now or whatever? So, yeah, I mean, it's basically the same as when I got it.
Do you think that's just the rain or the threat of rain and weather or whatever that might be? Because I'm on the over, too, and I expected it to go up a couple points.
I expected it to go up as well, which is like it opened at 50 over at Circa, and I hit the 50 as soon as I could because I thought this thing would go on the other side of 51, and it hasn't. Now, look, there's still time, but I thought it would already move by now. The efficiency of the Packers offense has been so incredibly good. And then the thing that we've talked about for the last few weeks on this show, the last stretch down the season, is as great as the 49ers offense has been, the defense has been league average, which is good, which is fine. When you are the number 1, number 2 offense in the league, you can win basically every game you play if you have a league average defense. But that doesn't mean that these teams like the Packers that are coming in, riding an incredible heater, getting awesome play calls, that are reading these defenses like left and right. I mean, I don't think that means that they can't score. And I understand that the 49ers offense can kind of do whatever they want to. In the threat here of it not getting over, to me, is the 49ers getting a big lead and then McCaffrey just running over and over and over and over again. Like, there is a threat to the over, which would be the Packers getting in a game state in which there is, that the 49ers could just kind of take the air out of the ball, right? And so I'm minimally concerned about that, and you should be in a 10-point spread game, right? That the team that's favored by 10 gets in a really favorable situation. But yeah, I'm.
You took the 10. I laid the 9.5 with the Niners, so we're oppo there. But it is just as many 9.5s as 10s exist currently at this moment, and you also are on the over, and that in addition to your Packers bet. Let me ask you another thing. Steve Fezzik, friend of show, friend of network, has been for those of us who are sort of texting back and forth for the whole week. He had a great point earlier in the week. I want to say Will did too on this, but Fez has definitely been talking about this, which is. And I made a small bet. I didn't even include it in my preflops, but I made a small bet on this. First quarter of this game, Matt LaFleur has shown a propensity here of late to take the football. He wants it first. Did so famously, obviously, last week as well. Kyle Shanahan defers. Green Bay first quarter is +3 with a little extra juice, like -125, and you can see it actually ticking upwards on this. Did you play any of that at all?
No, but that's a pretty good point to bring out from just also any of those first touchdown bets too, right? Like any of the first touchdown bets, like if you wanted to kind of load up on a lot of Packers, and they're probably all going to be fairly good numbers on those guys because they spread it around so much. Like, and so there's no like McCaffrey that's going to be minus, literally minus money or something. There's nobody on that team that's like that. So it's probably decent little numbers on all that. I will say this. This
is a great point.
This first team to score prop, right? Yeah. There's usually that. Prop's usually up most places.
This Green Bay offense, man, I cannot believe what I've seen for the last 2 months. Like it has been unbelievable how they've been able to go out there and basically do. Now you get Aaron Jones back. We got to remember he was gone for a stretch, and like that guy's pretty important to that team. I know we're in the running backs don't matter era of football, but like the guy's pretty important to that team, and he comes back in there, and no shock that they look like an even better offense than they were whenever they were relying on A.J. Dillon, who. Fine. He's fine. He's not Aaron Jones.
I believe it's 111 yards rushing or more in the past 5 weeks for Aaron Jones. Like he is back in a big way. I agree with you. We trash running backs all the time. He is one of those that matters to an offense.
First thing, A.J. Dillon, leaflet. Just want to point that out. And secondly, I just want to bring up the Fezzik thing again because I think regardless of what you are pre-flop, whichever side you're on, that is about as good of an angle of anything in any game this weekend because you don't often now have a coach, right? All these guys know to defer these days. But in the case of Matt LaFleur, who has done a bang-up job in Green Bay, he realizes it's like, now let me get my guy out there first and try to establish a lead rather than, have to chase a team like San Francisco.
And I think he's smart enough in games where they are, big underdogs. He understands, you don't want to, get behind, right off the bat.
Yeah. So good point by you also. Like, first touchdowns, anything you can sort of play in that direction might be the play of the weekend.
Go to VSiN.com/subscribe to become a VSiN Pro subscriber today.